Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to begin with the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Commissioner Henderson to lead us in the invocation, and City Manager to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hello.
She's a voice of this meeting and our decision making for each person that's here on tonight. And I ask that you for your blessings in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams,
Present.
Commissioner Edwards,
Present.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Present.
Commissioner Henderson, here, Commissioner Henry,
Present.
Commissioner Isom,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats, Commissioner Singleton,
Present.
Mayor Mohammed,
Present.
you have a quorum present.
Is there a motion to approve the regular minutes of February 18, 2000? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, yes, Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Present.
approval of the minutes.
Yes, approval.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Is there a motion for the approval of special minutes of February 19,
Motion approved.
2020? Motion is made by Commissioner Adams.
Second.
It is supported by Commissioner Edwards. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, yes, Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried
Is there a
unanimously.
motion for the approval of special minutes of February 24,
Motion to approve.
2020? Motion is made by Commissioner Adams.
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson, yes, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats. This is on the special meeting minutes of February 24th.
Yeah.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carried unanimously.
Is there a motion for the approval of accounts payable listing?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams,
Support.
and it is supported by Commissioner Harrelson. Is there a discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you. I didn't get a chance to email prior to, but, knowing that we're getting ready to go into budget, what is this? 4, page 4, 7252-3, Southwestern Regional Airport, the 2020 contribution. 2020 contribution? Okay, I just saw that because I don't remember the 19 and I was wondering why it was coming so late. But I guess that's 2020, so is this the same time of year that they received their contribution?
I wasn't here last year, but this is what's here this year.
Okay.
Yes, it is consistent, Commissioner Adams. In fact, it's generally before the beginning of March. February is generally the time that we disperse it.
Thank you.
Carry none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes, with the exception of recycle for, conflict of interest.
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carries, Your Honor.
This brings us to citizens' comments. Each person has a 3-minute maximum. The city clerk will call those registered to participate.
Daryl Jackson,
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm here to speak on a coach, Coach White, a legendary coach, long-time coach for Benton High School, 42 plus years. As you know or don't know, it was in the newspaper last week. He was approved, his name was approved to be put on the gym floor called Coach Paul White's Court. Myself, I've been spearheading for at least a couple of years. The late Steve Mitchell said something is well, that something well done that need to be done for Coach White. He said he so deserved it. So last week, the school board approved unanimous decision for this thing to happen on the gym floor. Coach White is the only coach in our history to take the boys and girls to state championship. Mayor Marcus Muhammad was part of that championship, 92, 93.
On the order, state finals.
Well, state finals, I was gonna say that, Mayor.
I hate to correct you, but
Right.
I have to, for the record.
We already know, but thank you. But he done that, and for some time, Coach White, he's 78 years old plus years, and the president of the board, Joe Taylor, said we should honor him and give him a chance to smell his flowers now. Don't honor him while he's gone. And I agree. A lot of us agree. Myself, I played for Coach White. He not only been a great coach, a great leader and a legend on the court, but off the court as well. He also mentored a lot of people. One of our very own commissioners, Ron Singleton, was mentored by him. And I'm pretty sure that he will agree. I was able to become a coach. He asked me to coach. He taught me how to coach, teaching the kids from grade school. And the good thing about it, the graphic teacher and the students, they got wind of it. They told me they'd be happy to try to make that happen. So I got a meeting with them tomorrow, so it's going to look on the floor. We want it to be seen on both sides of the court, big letters. Like I say, it's a great honor, and I'm glad to have been part of that to make it happen. Like Steve Mitchell said, let Steve Mitchell get it done. And like I say, for you all don't know, it was in the paper. And I thank you for this time you gave me to speak about a great legend. Thank you.
Stephanie Scott Sims,
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor Mohammed. My name, as you all know, my name is Stephanie Scott Sims. I'm with Cornerstone Alliance. I thought that my item was on today's agenda, but obviously I missed my opportunity at the last meeting. But I just wanted to come anyway before you, since I wasn't able to present, and just tell you a little bit about, a little bit more about our Tigers Count event that we're having. So This is a free event. It's open to the public. It's going to be held on April 18th at Union Park. And what it is it's a community fun day and a census event. Cornerstone received a grant from the Bering Community Foundation to host a census educational event. And so we're using these funds to put on this event. There's going to be food, games, prizes, giveaways, balloon twisting, face painting for the kids. And at the same time, we'll also have a census informational table where we will help to educate and provide information about the census and why it's important for folks to fill out their census form. We'll also have laptops there on site with volunteers who will be there to help anyone who wants to complete their census form right there on site. So that's really our ultimate goal, is to get people out, let them know why this census is important to Benton Harbor, to our community, and give them an opportunity, if they wish, to fill out their census form. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gwen Swanigan.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm just here to talk about the incident everybody pretty much knows about, the officer and the police brutality that happened. We've been waiting on an update, and according to the parents, they have not received any updates from the city manager, from anybody as of yet. She's called, they called, and no return phone calls. According to your receptionist, I think you're supposed to be out of town tonight. But what we're asking for, and I believe you all already know, what we're asking for is the suspension of this officer. Okay. And also, the last time I was here, I asked for a copy of the use of force policy, and nobody has gotten that to me as of yet. So I'm still waiting on that. So I hope eventually I'll be able to get a copy of that use of force policy from someone, because it should, if it doesn't exist, it should exist. What I'm asking is that you all do what's right by the residents. Okay, the residents elected you all, right? You work for the residents. For this man to still be out on the street, I know an investigation is supposed to be going forth, I get that, but while the investigation is going forth, that you all said that you're doing, he should not be out there on the street being able to continue this behavior. The director of the public safety has the authority to suspend this young man. If he doesn't do it, the city manager has the authority to make him do that. If he doesn't do it, you all as a commission that works for the residents have the authority to make the city manager, make the director do that, okay? So we're asking, at least show the residents that at least we're trying to solve this issue by at least suspending this young man. The family is asking for charges to be brought against this officer also, and that was supposed to be looked into. No one's heard anything back. So I get it that it's only been a week since a conversation had taken place, but within that time frame, you know, phone calls has been made and nothing has been returned. So I'm asking you all to do what's right by the residents.
Emma Kennard.
Good
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to make an announcement that we have one of the commissioners that has, in my mind, has been such a wonderful person since I've met him and grown to know him, and we're celebrating him this month on the 21st. And that's 105.3 FM radio is celebrating 15 years of our president, Ron Singleton, overseeing the station. And I think he's done a fantastic job. And I thought it would just be my pleasure is to get together and honor him for the 15 years that he has kept that radio station going. And I think we all should applaud him and come out. And we're asking donations of $15, $1 for each one of the years that he has served. So we have the tickets available, and we'd like for you all to come out and celebrate him, because we're really, I don't just say that miracle just lightly, but I do appreciate you, the things that you do, the things that I feel that you're sincere about, and I just want to celebrate you. And I was glad that he allowed me to go ahead and celebrate him. He's one of those kind of shy and pull back, but I'm glad to do that. But getting on to one of the other points that I heard Ms. Gwen speak about just before I came here. We have children, and when we discipline them and beat them up pretty bad, put a switch to them, a belt to them, they call that child abuse. If we have a neighbor or someone or a husband or wife get into it, they whichever one get the best of them, they call it what do they call it? Anyway, it's some type of abuse. But when the police get them and do excessive beating them and knocking them in the head and even shoot them because they feel threatened, then it's justified. Now, where do we draw a line? Do we train our children up and bring them up and discipline them? Even from the time they start putting their little hands on things, we tap their hands. And as they grow up, they get into bigger things and we discipline them. But we are told that that's excessive. You cannot spank your children. You can't hit your children or anything. But the cops can knock them in the head, kill them, and anything. Now let's be real. If your son, any of you that have sons or daughters, is out here and the police have brutality and beat them down and hurt them, you want everybody to come and see your part of it. Especially when you see the movie of it, the video of it. And when you see the video, and I saw it on TV, the part that I saw was very excessive. Yeah, the young man tried to pull whatever it was, taser out of it, but it was hurting him. He said you had to pull it out. So that's all I have to say.
James Duncan.
Hello, everybody. I know you're not happy to see me. I'm not happy for some of the things that's going on here either. I go back to B and Z. To start, they've been approved of putting in the meters and stuff against this citizen's feelings, because I felt they should not get anything. They should be, somebody else could have done their job. And I would have liked to have seen somebody else get their job, mainly because of all the lies that were told about the sand. And I'll just say the sand that came off of Gene Clark Park, which is the Citizens Beach. And there was no response from most of you guys about it. I keep bringing it up because I have a real problem with us taking something and getting locked down, but somebody else do something and get a contract like they got for doing a job. and we all sat here and let it happen. City manager, I'm not talking about you, you weren't here when that happened, but everybody else was. I like to say I'm really disappointed about that, because I see all these smiling faces would do everything for all of these other whirlpools and cornerstones and all of that. But when it comes to us and what we need, where are we on the agenda? I can't smile with you guys much. I'll smile for you, but I'm not gonna smile with you. I don't wanna eat with you. I don't wanna do much with you until we get as one, you guys voting together, making sure we do what we're supposed to do for the citizens. I'm not here for nobody else's reasons other than for the citizens. And I'm talking about Black citizens of Benton Harbor, because I'm particular. I am. This is personal, especially when things keep happening against us, and we have to smile and grin and not do nothing for ourselves. Right. And when it comes time to do something for ourselves, we draw up like a race.
I'd like to thank everyone who participated in these citizens' comments, public participation. This brings us to the consent calendar items. Are there any items that should be separated from the consent calendar? Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
I like the item of adopt a resolution approving the authorization to execute a contract with Tree Works.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Mayor, got the resolution approving request for a contractual agreement with Stephen H. Schwartz, Keller Thomas, PC, as City of Benton Harbor's labor attorney specializing in police crime. Thank you.
Item before the commission. Is there a motion to approve or adopt a resolution approving the authorization of the city manager to execute a contract with Tree Works for tree removals and restoration as part of the SRF DWRF projects?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton. It is supported by Commissioner Adams. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. We did discuss this in committee, and a couple questions popped out that I don't think that I got a understanding. I know this project is about cutting down trees, but when something important as trees to the environment, there should be a plan to replace the trees as well as to take care of the trees. So I know what we're talking about now is cutting down the trees, but I need to know what are the plans to replace trees and take care of them.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. My initial question, and I'd like an answer, is there room to hire some of our youth with the weather breaking and everything to get a broom, get a rake, and earn a few honest bucks?
I'm gonna get all of the comments from the council before we start with chair recognizes Commissioner Isa.
Yes, just of the 134 trees, is this bid for the 54 or just for the total job? And are we gonna replace the trees with native trees that can preserve an area? Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor. Looks like we've already spent close to $95,000 on the EWSRF project, Highland Territory on Stevens. Was that including the trees already? Or is the trees gonna be a whole nother fund? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Please state your name and your affiliation with the company.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Tim Drews with Avid Marsh Consultants. I'll try to remember all the questions, but if I forget one, please make me come back to them. So related to the tree replacements, we are actually coming up with plans right now for native tree replacements that will be not just one species, but multiple species that can be planted in the tree lawns to replace these trees, and others that are actually missing along the corridors to try to enhance the corridors with more vegetation and tree planting. Related to the cutting of the trees, so when I presented to the committee, I indicated that there are 134 trees that need to be cut down as part of these projects. That's in total that we have to do. What we did was we identified 54 that are gonna hold up the project if we don't get them cut down now. The remainder will be cut down as part of the actual project when the project actually starts in those areas. We have to do these now because of these endangered bats that come back to the area after April 1st. So there are endangered bats that if we can cut them during the winter months before March 3rd.
Is there some way we can have a DJ, some type of sound technician to correct?
Maybe it's fixed now.
It's not.
I can talk loud if everybody can hear me. I got a loud voice. Okay. So if we get these trees cut down before the end of March, the bats are not back in the area yet. They're not impacted, and that's the federal regulations on these endangered bats. So that's the timing of this project, is we have to get these trees, these 54, that will impact the start of construction, cut down prior to this bat season, let's call it. So that's the reason we're only doing 54 now. The remainder will be done as part of when the major construction work starts.
And when will the major construction work begin?
Likely in late August, early September, in that time frame. We're in the process of design right now. We have a submittal due in a couple of weeks to Eagle, which is the state, used to be DEQ. And we have to be done with the design by mid-May. We go out to bid end of May, and we open bids at the end of June, and then it's got to go through the approval process for the award of the bid. So it'll be right around Labor Day, mid-August to Labor Day is when the major construction work will start. So I answered the amount of permanent trees, the replacement of the trees. The youth, if you have things that they can do, this is specialty work that they have to be certified to do. So the crews have certifications for, I don't even know all of them that they're required to have, but for working within the right of way, for cutting the limbs, safety, OSHA requirements and all that kind of stuff.
Can I get a list?
City manager should provide.
We can definitely ask for that list, yes. But if there are other things, I'm trying to, in my own mind, think of what else that they can be doing on this part of the project. If you have suggestions, I mean, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the trees down We have to have those all cut down by March 31st. We're gonna remove the stumps, grind the stumps down. We're gonna bring in topsoil and we're gonna seed and we're gonna restore the areas. So that's this part of the project that's actually gonna happen.
And I do want to add before Commissioner Singleton, this is the beginning of the, where you see the first part, whereas the city of Benton Harbor is undertaking projects to reconstruct streets, sidewalks, water mains, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers as part of the project plan. So this is the cut the brush part of it, which is a prerequisite before the other work begins. I do want to recognize Commissioner at Large Singleton.
You kind of talked about what I was gonna ask. The reason those trees have to go is because they're like in the way of getting to the, replace the mains and stuff around.
Right, the work is gonna include removal of the streets, removal of the sidewalks, storm sewer, sanitary, and water main. And by the time you do that, you're basically from right of way to right of way width, and these trees are in the way. And some of these sewers are 25 feet deep. So you can imagine the depth of the hole and the width of the hole to replace those sewers. So it is gonna be pretty impactful for these streets when it's all said and done. Which is the reason why planting and having a landscape plan that goes along with these streets and replacement of the trees is gonna be important, because there's some large trees on, let's just say territorial for one, that they get cut down, it's gonna be a totally different look for that street. So we need to make sure that we bring it back and actually enhance that street with new landscape and new trees that fit the area and fit the street, the widths that we have to work with.
It just for the record, most of those trees are in pretty bad shape. Anyway, we got a serious tree problem in the city across the city. So that would kind of help alleviate some of those dangerous trees also. So maybe they're coming down anyway.
Right. The one question that Commissioner Seats had was regarding the amount spent to date. This $34,000 is in addition, it's a separate cost. The cost to date are engineering, surveying, we had to videotape some sewers. There's been a lot of investigative work, and so the charges to date have been in the plan preparation, let's call it. This $34,000 is in addition to that. It would be part of the city's match on this project.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you. It was 34,000, and then it was also, I think it was another 17,000. It was another 43,000. That was towards that same project. Looks like it's listed as the same project. The reason I'm asking is because I know we have match money. How much grant money has been spent on this also for the same? Because I know we got a match, so we're matching 90,000. That means we're pulling down like 90,000 off that grant too. Is that correct?
That will all happen.
Chair,
Yeah,
sorry.
That will all happen as part of the loan closing and as part of so these are eligible costs that'll be as part of this loan process and grant process. So if you recall, there was $1 million something in grant loan forgiveness. So that all comes together at the end of this when the loan closes in late July, early August.
Chair.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I know that there's been organizations that came in and planted trees, little saplings, and they left little bags on them, but they all died. Most of the trees that they planted at Jean Clark Park died. So now, and they were, quote, native trees. Who will have the responsibility of maintaining these trees? Is my question. And will they be of substantial size, or will they be the little small saplings that I have to grow up and make a great tree lawn in 15 years?
So anytime we have a landscape or tree planting process in our projects, there is a 1-year warranty on the trees. That's just a standard contract item. We also have tree bags, as you mentioned, sometimes we put bags, that's the best way to keep these trees watered unless you had irrigation. So that will be a part of the process as well. After that 1-year warranty period, it'll be up to the city. Theoretically, if they're gonna die in that first year. And then basically they should be established after that 1-year period. And they get replaced for free in that first year. So they need to make it through a winter time is the key.
Surely. Through the chair, I'd like to see if the city manager will address that responsibility as far as the city taking care of the little saplings.
Chair recognizes City Manager Mitchell.
Public Works is responsible for taking care of trees.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do want to reserve, given that this is in Commissioner Harrelson's ward, I know you've been really beating the camel about the dead trees in your ward. Do you have any comments on this?
Well, I would like to see the trees before they get so bad, to be taken care of so they won't just rot out, like they're just falling apart and falling all over everything, all over the streets, the sidewalks. And I would like to see it cleaned up.
Well, from 134, I think that's a pretty good start.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, yes, Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item is adopt a resolution approving the request to go into a contractual agreement with Stephen H. Schwartz Keller, Toma PC, as the City of Benton Harbor's labor attorney specializing in police and fire.
Make a motion to,
A motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Seats, and it has been supported by Commissioner Large Singleton. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
thank you, Honorable Mayor. I think we talked about this at one of our prior meetings. The question comes with this, are we gonna have to pay our present attorney any kind of money to interact with this attorney? From what we understood before, we're paying that firm, Benton Hearns and Jennings, a little bit of money to handle some labor things and some not labor things, but I need to know who's gonna be the go-between between this attorney and the city. And I see this as saying that they're gonna give us a discounted rate for services, which I do appreciate. There will be no, which I think is a blessing, no additional charge for faxes and routine copying and postage, which we seem to have to pay sometimes anyway. But are we gonna be paying two attorneys to handle this, or we just gonna be paying this attorney, and this attorney's gonna deal straight with our HR person, or we're gonna pay a go-between, same probably about a little bit more than we're gonna be paying this guy to do what he's doing? And that's just an honest question, because again, the last time we brought this before us, and I'm looking at the accounts payable, and I don't see how much we spent in legal fees for this month or month from a couple months. Just missing, or we already paid them up front. But I just want to know, are we going to be paying a go-between? And then if so, if we're going to be paying a go-between, at the end of the meeting, I don't want to hear, I don't have a report. Donna, we need to have a report, whether it's closed session and session, because I think we're paying a lot of money for legal fees. So through the chair, the question is, are we going to be paying a go-between? Thank you.
I want to direct that to the city manager.
Mr. Chair and Commissioner, that attorney will be handling police only and working with the police department and working with HR. And the city manager.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Chair recognizes Second Ward Commissioner Edwards.
City manager, is that with the fire department and police department?
Yes, fine, police.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to know if, brain dead, sorry. Go on, Chair, I have to come back to it.
Well, we will be calling for the question. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to staff comments. Chair recognizes the Deputy Director of Public Safety, Deputy Clark.
No comments this evening, sir.
Chair recognizes the City Assessor, Assessor Story.
Thank you, just a heads up, everybody should have received their assessment notice. If not, you should within, the next day or so. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, give me a call. We'd be more than happy to explain or answer any questions, or if errors remain, we'd be happy to set you up with the board review. That is it tonight. Thank you.
Chair recognizes City Attorney Hearn.
No report today.
Chair recognizes City Clerk Thompson.
Notice is hereby given that a presidential primary election will be held in the city next Tuesday, March 10th, 2020, for the purpose of electing presidential candidates. The following polling locations will be open from 7 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Ward 1 in the library of the Benton Harbor High School, 870 Colfax. Ward 2, Benton Harbor Public Library at 213 East Wall. Ward 3, room 106 of the Benton Harbor High School, 870 Colfax. And Ward 4 of the Benton Harbor Housing Commission's Virginia Edwards Community Center, located at 721 Nate Wells Senior Drive. Anyone who qualifies as an elector may register to vote in person with proof of residency at the city clerk's office located at 200 East Wall Street at the following times. Regular business office hours Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. This Saturday on March 7th, 2020 from 8:30 a.m. until 5 o'clock p.m. And Election Day, Tuesday, March 10th from 7 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Absentee ballots are also available for all elections.
Chair recognizes City Manager Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commission, and for the people in the public and the audience. Just to make sure it's clear, painfully clear. We did say that we were having an investigation of the police matter. We met with the mother, the father on the phone, and Miss Swanigan. And the chief was there, chief of police. And we both explained that we had some investigating to do. And when we got to a point, we would come back with information. I don't want anybody to think that we're sitting around not doing anything. That's not what we do here. When we get to a point for a time for a report, we will give a report.
Thank you.
Somebody called, you should call them back.
Point of order. Thank you, Mr. Manager. The chair recognizes 4th Ward Commissioner Harrelson.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mayor. I'd just like to say, this past weekend, we did go on a retreat. I think you pronounce it Merton. I can't even pronounce it, but anyway, Frankenmerg. Is that it? But anyway, it was wonderful. It was, all the presenters was very thorough and could understand what each one of them was saying. And I appreciate the opportunity to go because we learned a lot, we saw a lot, and I just walked a lot. I think I walked a mile to my room. But anyway, a half a mile, it was a long walk. But anyway, it was wonderful and I enjoyed the participation. I enjoyed going, I enjoyed riding with the commissioners. Commissioner Isom was the driver. Did a fine job, beautiful job. When I get ready to go out of town, I know who to call. Anyway, I'd like to thank the mayor and city manager for giving us the opportunity to take this trip for the weekend, and the commissioners. Thank you.
Chair recognizes 3rd Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. I want to thank the citizen coming out to seeing us in action. I want you to know that there are other meetings this week that you probably need to attend if you're going to have some input in the medical marijuana and some other things that the planning commission is doing. The planning commission meeting is tomorrow. It's at 5:30. It's usually at 1, but we have one meeting a year, a couple of meetings a year that we have in the evening. So it allows the citizens that are working to come. And the next meeting is Wednesday at 5:30, and we will be looking for your input and as to what we're gonna do with the medical marijuana initiative. So come out, get involved in the government, and let's hear what you gotta say. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes 2nd Ward Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to say to everyone, thank you for coming out. Also, as I say, always pay attention to what I say and match that with what I do. Hold me accountable for that. I was elected because of you. Seeing something or trusted something that you wanted me to do. Make sure you hold me accountable to that. And my age is gonna have to remind me. So all of it is I'm not doing it on purpose. I'd like to thank you all. I thank City Manager Mitchell, the other commissioners for going on this retreat. And I've been on many before in Chicago. But one thing I've always noticed about those type of retreats or conferences is that the group that goes together is usually the strongest group. They usually have the updated projects, the updated programs, the first one in line for grants, first one in line, because as a group, they bond together and we find out, I'm not really different than you. I really want the same thing as you do. But to me, my constituents might want, for example, mine might want the stop signs first. Yours might want the yield signs first. But when it basically comes down to it, we all gonna have to get it done together. It's one city, one council. Thank you very much, and I ask you to just be patient with us. And as we move forward, thank you very much. God bless you.
Chair recognizes 1st Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out on tonight, and for all the residents who spoke on tonight, and to congratulate Coach Woolite on his success in his run, and also Commissioner Singleton for 15 years. I didn't realize it had been that long, so congratulations as well. on that. As Commissioner Harrelson talked about at the conference that we attended over the weekend, and it was a conference, it wasn't a, I don't feel like it was a downtime from 5:30 to 9 on Friday, and then from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Saturday. And so after that, if you had downtime, it was on your own time, your own dime. And so during that conference, one of the things that stuck out to me, and one of the things I think we knew, but telling the story of your city. We don't have a single story. We have a story that's multi-complex and has a lot of different elements in it. And so as a city council person, we need to do a better job at telling the story of Benton Harbor, which is not just economically disenfranchised. Because one of the local officials there, that's what she thought about Benton Harbor. She thought about emergency managers and it being an economically broke, disenfranchised city. And so as city commissioners, we have a responsibility to tell a different story about our city. We talk about businesses and jobs locating in the city. Part of that story is telling that story so that people will locate here. There are people here who want to work and who want to create better lives for their families. Those are the stories that as a city council and a city that we need to be telling so that those businesses come here to locate so that we can create better jobs and a better community for the people that live here. Also just effective public service. I think we're doing what we have learned, but these kinds of meetings help us become and to provide better public service. And so there was a lot of information that was provided, and I think that we all learned from while we were there. And just the networking that happens. Had the opportunity to meet one of a young local lady from one of the townships that was the first Black elected official in Westville. And just a terrific young woman. Had the opportunity to talk and to network with them. And we talk about our issues. Ours ain't nothing compared to some of the stuff, the inequalities that happen in a large city like that. So I just like to thank the people that I serve with, our city manager, our mayor. It has been a run, but this team is very much unified about this city and moving it forward. So thank you guys. Thank you, citizens, even for the people who disagree. Believe us, we hear you because your concerns are just as important as everybody else's who agreed with us or who voted for us. Those matter even more because you hear why you're upset. And a lot of times it's just so that you can get your voices heard. So we understand that and we respect that. We don't always respond the best to those types of things. And I think as a commission, that's something that we'll all be working toward doing a better job of. So thank you, City of Benton Harbor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Lawrence Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, citizens. This weekend definitely was worthwhile. Matter of fact, when the manager came to me and asked me to go, I did want to stay home and make a little extra money because I had to give up a couple of days of work. But, he convinced me, and I'm glad he did, because the information and fellowship with people from other communities was more valuable than I would have earned for those couple of days. Just even to fellowship with the commissioners here in a different setting was, it was well worth it. I think we got a chance to understand each other, know a little bit more about each other, and some of the things they talked there. One of the presenters was talking about owning it. Whatever happens on our watch, we own it. And what happened in the past, even with the emergency managers, we're here now and we own that too. And so, we got to, just, I guess, since we own it, we got to make it better. And I think that, we're in the process of doing that. Looking forward to other training, Michigan Municipal League. We've been a member of them for years, and we've been paying dues, and I think we haven't been taking advantage of the training that they do offer. So hats off to the city manager for encouraging us to, go. So, on the, the police thing, I do have some concerns here too, and I am waiting patiently to, see that thing resolved. And so, it's, the patience, it's, sometimes get a little hard, but investigations sometimes go that way. But as long as they're moving forward to get to a resolution, I think again, I'm trusting in the process to see how that work out. Coach Wilhite, I think that's Derek Jackson stated, best. Honor him, while he's still living. He was definitely made a big impact in my life. Coming up as a kid in single parent homes, there's guys like him that was the father figures, the uncle figures, and I got a few swats from him as a kid, and never knew that I would go in and substitute for his class in the high school, when I was a kid. He inspired me to go to college. I wanted to be a physical education teacher, just like you. I never got a chance to play basketball for I was too short. Played football, but he didn't coach that. But he mentored me through the way, and like you said, off the court. He did a lot in the school, teaching and everything, but I think off the court he did probably more. There's a lot of kids that's probably owe their success to Coach Paul Wilhite.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Ice.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. All the comments, Queen Kennard, Commissioner Singles for his 15 years on the radio. It's been great. You do a good job on that. And I will be there at that. Hope to be some good food. And I like the chicken we had this weekend. The conference was great, getting along with all the commissioners, networking. We was in the house. We all sat in a row. And they said, Ben Hall. They said, yeah, we right here in the house. Ben Hall. That felt good, to be in the presence of all these other municipalities and townships and cities. Benton Hall. We stood out. We stood out and we felt the presence of unity, that we stood together. When I was a driver, I put him in the car. We talked for a little while, but I turned the heat up on him, see, and I put him to sleep. Take that off. Didn't take long. I turned the heat up on him and just drove on. I tried to gut it on. But we had a good time, we networked, and we together. It's a team. It's a team spirit that we all was on the same page, that we're looking for the same thing, the betterment of life for the people in the city of Benton Harbor. And it was great. We ate together. We drank water together. We had a great time. We had a great time, just networking with other people and taking pictures. But I felt the unity in this conference and learned a lot, that how we should act and be in this commission, and come on the same accord. And on the way back, we talked a little bit, and I turned the heat up again. We made it back, but it was a good thing for us to go. We needed that. We needed some more to make us better at what we do, what we do for you and for the city. That means a lot to me, just to sit down here and we just, we open up to each other, get to know each other, we learned things about each other. We spoke up, and there was great speakers there. They talked about zoning. They talked about how we should respect each other in the chambers. When we should speak, when we should not speak. and how we greet each other, and how we should represent this city of Benton Harbor, like we did this weekend. Thank you. God bless you. Don't turn the heat up.
Chairman recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank the city residents and business owners for coming out, taking time out of your busy schedule to come down and see how things are working in the city for you or not. And tonight we've heard a little bit of that, both sides, but you have to keep coming back and let us know what's not, so we'll know what to do. I'd like to request that with Avonmarsh, we have inventory signs that were done, replaced, a listing of that, as well as the fire hydrants on the corner of not Columbus and May Street, right there by the Farrellgood Marshall's place. I don't know if the water was frozen and unthawed, because it does seem like we've gotten warmer weather, but for it to be just running, it needs to really be looked at. I just ran across it earlier this evening, well, late this evening. But I have a question for our city clerk, if she can get back to me, and that's, election is next Tuesday, I thought it was tomorrow. If in fact we can do something to have someone there that can possibly help out with the census, I don't know, but I'll talk to Stephanie and get back with you on that. I must share this, and I'm so glad that some of my colleagues here got an opportunity to go and spend some time with each other, because I'm definitely not there yet, and I'm a work in progress, and it's going to take a lifetime, I think, for us all, but we can all do better. Before I was elected, I was appointed as a Brownfield Authority board member. I've been across this country with other members and attended a numerous amount of trainings and conferences where I gathered so much information. As a matter of fact, I heard my colleague, Commissioner Henderson, speak of one that reminded me about the story that we must tell about our community. And it was the weekend prior to the Monday of the gentleman that I met that was coming to Berrien County to start a land bank. When I was presenting, when they were asking questions, and I just stood up because I'm always full of questions. I'm a very inquisitive person. That's the only way I'm going to find out any information that I need to obtain for what I need to do or get done. And when they said Benton Harbor, I heard some in amongst the room of probably 200 or 300 people. And this was just one class. There were others after that. Anyway, I said, but no, it's not what you all think. We are not burning the city down. And as I got to tell the story, they got to laugh, and I gained their attention to the point to where Benton Harbor sounds like a pretty neat place. And this guy stood up and said, I'll be there in Benton Harbor Monday. And I'm like, really? And we talked afterwards, and it just started. We have a land bank, but it happens to be in Berrien County, but I think Benton Harbor needs its own. Anyway, I want to touch base on one last thing, and that's that the February 27th marked the 6th, I thought it was the 8th, the 6th anniversary of my brother's keeper, Obama's birth of a playbook that he put together for young men of color. And when I took an oath, I promised the community that I would be transparent, and I will be. But I have to learn not to put gasoline on things. Sometimes I have to hold my mule too. Because things can get really blown out of hand to where we're angry with one another. You have to look at things from both sides sometimes. 2 officers in Chicago just this evening on the evening news have been let go because they shot a man. And really, from what I saw on the video, there was no need for it. But everybody will get a chance to see it because it's a nationwide thing that's going on or that happened. And I know that we ourselves in the beginning, when this camcorder thing started, we asked for policies, and we need to revisit that. And I'll ask our gentle lady of of our legislative committee meeting if in fact she would do that. But just please be patient with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and I'm appreciative to everybody who's here tonight. To my constituents and Commissioner Iceland, I'm glad you let the secret out your bag, because I wonder how I fell asleep in the parking lot before we left. Turned the heat all the way up on me. When I woke up, we were back in the parking lot in Benton, so grateful for that. I did thoroughly enjoy, and I do appreciate your city manager for calling me and requesting, saying, wouldn't it be nice? I was trying to ignore you, but I couldn't ignore you. And because we went to that meeting, there was some money that was allocated to Benton Harbor that wouldn't have been allocated to us if we had not have been there. Which, I know the mayor's gonna do an announcement, but I came to know this board a little bit better. The first Black president of the MML is an African-American sister who was very, very welcoming, very happy to have us. Said we've been paying money for a lot of years, but have not even showed up. So that seems like a waste of money that we've been doing, but now we should be able to put good money to use. I commend, I know everybody said it, but it didn't call his name, Daryl Jackson, for his continuance of the Basketball Hall of Fame. It means a lot to honor somebody else and not try to get a pat on the back yourself, but to make sure somebody else's history and legacy never dies, but naming the court after him. Last 2 weeks have been a couple busy weeks because I've myself had experienced a young man in my family who was, say what you want, he was assaulted, I'm speaking, choked, and it seemed like people want to choose this side of the line. But you can't pick and choose when it comes to what's right and what's wrong, or what's black and what's not. If you're gonna stand up, you're gonna have to stand up. And if you don't want to become a target, don't become highly visible. So you'll hear some news tomorrow that's gonna come out, which is good news, because when you fight for something, something has to happen. And I'm gonna say this, and this goes to everybody. Don't let it be your kid, your grandchild, until you're waiting to stand up for somebody else. It's not comfortable to have to take days off, or have to walk, march, stand up. But a lot of times I hear people on the phone saying black is right and this is right, and equity and all this other kind of stuff. But when it comes time, it's like the woman when they was killing the Catholics, she didn't stand up. When they started killing the Jews, she didn't stand up because she wasn't a Jew. When they started killing the Protestants, she didn't stand up because she wasn't a Protestant. When they came to kill her kind, there was nobody left to stand up with her. So you'll have to stand up sooner or later. If you drive down, and I'm closing with this, thank you, Honorable Mayor, for your leadership and being there to meeting this weekend. If you drive down Vine Street and you turn on Lake Street, you'll see that the water is up on the curb. I know we're worried about sand now, but God has taken care of the sand issue that we've had in the past. And if somebody push you off that curb, it's not that light brush. If I can get one more second. It's not that light brush that wets your feet. If you get pushed off that curb right there at the corner, you're going to have to start swimming. I was at a meeting, thank you, Honorable Mayor, for a little bit more second. A man with a $4 million house said if it rains 2 more times, that his house is going to be in the lake. He spent $400,000 trying to protect the house from falling in the lake. So I know we're worried about some other stuff, but if we don't take care of it, believe me, there's somebody bigger who takes care of the problem. and it's not you. So, Gene Clark, Silver Beach, you might have to find a new place to swim this year. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the residents for coming out. I'd like to commend the city council for your representation at the Michigan Municipal League Elected Officials Academy, which was attended by a wide range of elected officials throughout the entire state. During the lunch network, the mayor of Lowell approached me and he wanted to know, how did you all pass the city income tax? He said because they had attempted and they failed by 61 votes. And he said, what did you all do the second time for it to be successful? So it just let me know that there's eyes on Benton Harbor, and Benton Harbor is being looked at, despite the FBI's report, the worst or the most unsafe place to live in. There was a USA Today report, but people are looking at the city of Benton Harbor with dollar signs. And trust and believe it when I tell you. I was in Detroit as well, and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib at the African American Leadership Achievement Awards, and when it was announced the mayor of the city of Benton Harbor is present, people just came up and were very supportive of the school district. We're happy that you all stood up and fought. The unity that we saw, we never seen it before. You know, we support you, we standing with you, anything you need. So that was encouraging. And then of course to see our elected leaders standing tall amongst other leaders, it was really a great joy for me, given that what we've come through, Commissioner Henry, Mayor Pro Tem Seats, myself, and then Commissioner Henderson came a little later, but survived 2 emergency managements. Where at one time, all we could do was open a meeting and close a meeting. Nothing on the agenda, all committees disbanded, members ripped off the committee, or committees, Ms. Kennard being one, and others. So to see the government being restored, and us going out and being educated and getting information to bring back to the community, you know, that lets me know that our local government, Commissioner Adams, is working. I will be providing some information from one of the workshops, the local government financial statements and audits, which was dealing with budgeting. And it's dealing with, some really good information, difference between non-spendable, restricted funds, committed funds, assigned funds, unassigned funds, you know, just language that I think that will be very good for the residents to learn, as well as the council. One of the things they said, every budget should be on the website. All expenditures, all revenue, all contracts that the city has entered into, the residents should be able to pull up the website and see that transparency. So we will be doing things differently. We have a new city manager who was in full support of us attending this workshop. We look forward to doing more in the future. Coach Will Height, I wouldn't be who I am, where I am, were it not for his leadership. He told me as I was going to DePaul University, if you can survive 2 things, he said you can be successful. And it was drugs and AIDS. And I said, Coach, I don't even drink. He Hey, man, I'm telling you right now. You're gonna know what I'm talking about by and by. The drugs and AIDS, man. If you can escape that, man, you're gonna do something like it. So in the words of Coach Will Height, I'm honored to just play for him and to see him being honored as he deserves it. We do have a closed session that was added to the agenda, and I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'd like to entertain that motion, Mayor. But before we do, can I get my colleagues to give me a list of anything that that you guys can think of in the form of what we need appropriated to our community? I just got an email this afternoon.
Right
and I forgot.
now,
Please.
not the time.
Okay.
We do have
Motion to adjourn to the closed session.
Well,
State the purpose, Mayor, please.
it's a personnel matter regarding the case of former city manager Darwin Watson.
It's made by Commissioner Adams, supported by
Support.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Harrelson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seaver,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, Mr. Hill.
Lisa.
Closed door session.
Chief, good evening.
You too, sir. Take care.
Hopefully, Dan gets well.
Yeah, he's got something.
Yeah, I was texting him today to try to accompany him later this week, but apparently he's back in business. So, have a good night.
Yeah, take care. Usually it's in uniform.
Joke about all of this too. When they take that much sand off the beach, you know, you know something? That's the only reason why we're in the picture right now. Otherwise we'd be out in
All the beautiful beach lanes that they stay in, their houses is falling into.
Yeah, but
See, God, it's not pleasing. But they took so much of it. They took so much. And then with the court, it's justified.
I thought.
Now, what God does, he's taking their house and everything.
Well, that's what you get when you, that's what God people.
That's right. And yeah, because of other stuff. I mean, none of us is when it comes to us, we don't remember wage. But then they can come in and make it millions of dollars. Then just sit up and do a survey. All we got to do is know that the job needs to be done. You know, they said, you have to go and sit and talk about it, and then they making an assumption what needs to be done. I can tell them what needs to be done.
I think we need to, go all out, try to get meters, park meters, across the city. Across downtown, on our beach. And I think we ought to raise our rates on our beach. No, we have our children, we ain't on the beach.
People come from GPA, he gonna be tired of years, like you said. They gonna ask us. That's what they do.
They don't wanna talk about nothing like that. That's all the citizens to do, use in the media, and instead of all of the eyes that they're talking about. I was saying, because some people just do that just naturally.
No, I was trying to come in with you though.
You want to come in with me, because those are things that we're gonna ask you for, and I'm hoping I can get somebody other than me to ask you, but you know, be out there, I wish we need music all over downtown. And we definitely need them on our beach. And we need to raise the, what you call it, the admission fee on our beach, and put up some fences on that north end, where, put up, put fence and the way you pay to get in over there too. Cause they, otherwise they walking in just like, they walk in with their, they can't come down there with no dog.
That's what they do.
I know, but they ain't supposed to, not now in particular, that's what our police chief said.
So, she was in ninth grade, like he said, they got over here in St. Joe, meters at the park. They come to park down there and put some of that every 2 hours.
And at Mickey Yard Road Park too. Hell yeah, cause they're finna take that.
It feels good.
Oh,
It sure is.
I guess I can let the windows down. I don't know what that was.
Time is, somebody give me the time, but I sure can.
Oh,
8:55.
Come on, y'all, see, get this meeting back together.
we
Tom,
want to,
If I,
8:55.
resume out of recess from a closed session regarding the litigation of former city manager Darrell Watson, and no action has been taken. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I needed,
Commissioner
Madam Clerk?
Henry,
Yes,
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
yes.
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrelson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Here's that $60. You make sure that gets back to where it's supposed to be.
thank you.
$60. She didn't go?
Bye, y'all. That's the meeting, right? Y'all sitting here like y'all can do another meeting. I'm looking up, I'm the only one getting the